Hi class. We've been looking at social studies and trying to think like a historian. And so today we are going to take a look at, and one of the things that historians do is they look at primary source documents. And so we are going to be looking at the preamble of the Declaration of Independence today. Now, if you look at it, it's pretty complicated. It's very information dense. There's a lot of information there. The language is not familiar because it's written in language they used in the 1700s. And there's not a lot of clues as to what a lot of these things mean. So I realized it's a little bit intimidating. So we're going to break it down a little bit. We're going to come up with some strategies in order to make this an easier process. So you can read the information, you can understand the information, and then you can explain the information. So that's our ultimate goal. Is I would like you to be able to explain the preamble of the Declaration of Independence in your own words. So the first strategy I would like to talk to you about today is called chunking. So we've looked at chunking before, but let's go over the process again. So chunking is when you take a big document like this and you break it down into a smaller piece. Kind of like if you have a sandwich, you don't just eat the entire sandwich in one bite. You take a little bit at a time, and then that way you can enjoy it a little bit more. And so the first thing we're going to do is, if we look at the first sentence, it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So we're going to just take that chunk. So what I would like you to do is take a pencil and draw a line next to the "we" like this, like a slash mark, and a slash mark here by happiness. And we're only going to look at that line for right now. So if you look at mine, I took that one line and I put it up by itself. And remember, I always told you not to worry about mistakes because we all make them. So if you look, when I wrote it, I put one P with happiness, so I had to quickly put the second P in. That's okay to make a mistake as long as you fix it, because we all make mistakes. So once again, our sentence says what? And I'm going to have somebody read it out loud for me, please. That's right. So we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, if you look at this sentence, we have some words in here that are capitalized, that are not names, and they are not in the beginning of the sentence. And the writers of the preamble of the Declaration of Independence did that because they thought these words were extremely important. So now we're going to look at a second strategy. So now we've chunked it, but now we've got to take this chunk and we've got to make it so we understand it. So we're going to come up with a strategy called annotating, where we try to find the main points or things that confuse us, and we're going to tackle a few of these strategies with highlighting. So what I would like you to do is take out your highlighters. I've got mine here with my 3. It's got my yellow, it's got my orange, and it's got my green. And what we're going to do is we're going to look and say, so words or phrases that you think are important, I would like you to highlight in the orange, please. All right? For capitalized words, please highlight in yellow. And words or phrases you do not know, you can do in green, okay? All right, so why don't you go ahead and take a minute, and I want you just to sit there. I want you to read the sentence, and then I would like you to go through and highlight on the second time that you do that. And I'm going to come around and see how you're doing while you do that. All right, I know I didn't give you a lot of time, but we're going to now go ahead and I'm going to show you what I came up with. Remember, this is just my ideas. You might have different ones. So here's mine. And I highlighted some words or phrases that I thought were important were hold these truths. And I thought really truths was the most important part of that phrase. So that's a very important word. I thought self-evident was important. And self-evident means obvious. And another one I did was all men are created equal. And equal being the most important because they're saying that everyone is equal. Now, for my greens, I did words that you do not know. I'm not quite sure about the word endowed or unalienable or pursuit. So what we're going to do is what do we do when we do not know a word? That's right. We go ahead and we look it up in our student dictionaries so we can see what that means. And finally, I did my yellow with my capitalized words. So remember, these are words that the people who wrote it thought were important. So the word creator, the word rights, the words life and liberty, and the word happiness. Now, you can have more than one color on these. So obviously, life, liberty, happiness, and rights are all, I put them all also orange. So words that I thought, or phrases that I thought were important. And technically, you can extend, if we can figure out what pursuit means, I think pursuit of happiness could also be an orange, all right? I know this is a little confusing. That's why we're going to practice this. So, now, here's what I would like you to do. Do we have any questions? All right, I'm going to move on now. And I want you to chunk the second sentence, all right? And that is that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So I want you to now highlight, remember, I want words you think are important, words that confuse you, that's the green, and capitalized letters, which is the yellow, okay? And I want you to highlight them, and then I want you to turn and share with either your table or your neighbor. All right, thank you. And I'm going to go around.